Right, so this little section is looking at adding in labels to our graph. So this is bits to point out interesting bits of data. We can do our basic plot again. So you've still got the data loaded in from the last video. Plot our basic graph. Again, you can add the x-axis, you can add the y-axis if you want to, that's absolutely fine. I'm not going to bother to do that here. I'm just going to go straight into putting a label in. So we're going to do plt.text and we're going to give the location of the text that we want. So I'm going to say, let's mark out the first #1 album, which is in position 3. So I want my label probably to be up here, so I'm not cutting out the graph. So I want it 3 on the x-axis and say 46 on the y-axis. So it should sit above the graph and not occult anything there. So I want it in x position 3, y position 46, and I'm going to say first #1 album. And we return that. I mean, you now get a nice little bit of text there telling us what it is. So this is distinct from our axis title, our graph title, which comes above, remember. If, for example, we wanted to make this stand out a little bit more, you can put it in a box. Curly brackets for our box, and run that. And that chooses the colour that the background is in the box. If you want to specify the colour that the text is in the box, then we ask it to have face colour, in quotes, face colour, and it's a colon, not an equals, because we're in a bracket, it's a dictionary format, remember, and therefore it's also, we need to spell out red rather than just using R. And that gives us a red box, and a green box, and a blue box, and so on and so forth. And the other thing you might want to do is say change the size of the box that we have here around your text. So we can just add that in with a comma to separate those. Remember, in a dictionary, and that's the pad size, colon, let's go up to 10 and run that. That increases the size around your label box. Again, there's quite a lot of different things that you can do there. So if you want to try something different out, have a look at the Matplotlib homepage and you get some more ideas there. The other thing you can do is put an arrow to point there. So it's kind of all right saying first #1 album there, but in this case it doesn't make it clear which one of these it is. So let's put an arrow there to show us. Just the basic graph again, plt.plot, and then the variable name. Again, you can add the X and Y axis labels, you can add the title, and so on. This time we're going to do an annotation, so plt.annotate, open brackets, what you're going to annotate it with, so your text that you're going to put in, first #1 album, and then we have the starting position of our arrow, so the XY start position. We're going to start it at the correct point on the x-axis, so it's 3 in the x-axis, and then we might as well start it at this value here. So if you've copied the same values through, that's 3 and 43.08. If you've made your own values up, that again, absolutely fine. Just put the relevant number in there, put that position that's in the, put that number that's in the third element in there. Then the next bit we're going to have is the end of the arrow where your text is. So that's the XY text. Make sure this goes in a way that's going to not cut out your graph. So we could go down, but then it's going to cut the graphical image there. So I'm going to go along to 4 and up to 46, and my arrow is going to point in a diagonal fashion there. So I want it to end at x-axis on 4, y-axis on 46, and then let's tell it it's an arrow. So arrow props and pulling it out of the dictionary. Just do a double bracket there, and it picks the colour of the fill for the arrow. You can see it starts where we asked it to, finishes where we asked it to, which is where it fits the text. A lovely little arrow pointing to the bit of interest. And you can pick the colour of this arrow, so that's one of the options in the arrow props in the dictionary of that. So it's face colour, and it's equal to black, or whatever colour you want. I'll go with black to match the text, and let's change that into a black arrow pointing to where it wants to be. So again, you can just specify where these start, where they finish, what you want to put in it, and then you can go and label all the interesting bits that you want to on your graph. When you're ready, the next video, we're going to have a look at how you customize this line type, so we don't just end up with a straight blue line every time. I'll meet you there when you're ready.